What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So we're going to do a reaction video today when it comes to the stimulus package. Stephen Mnuchin was on Fox News Sunday, so I want to take a look at this. And he brought up some interesting points, so I want to kind of chime in and let you know how I feel about certain things that he said. And he did bring some new information to the table. So let's go ahead and take a look. But before we do, please hit that like button. If you hit the like button, it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. We do daily videos and live streams on the weekends. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Joining us now, Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin. Mr. Secretary, thanks. Welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Thanks, Brett. It's great to be with you.
I'd like to start with where the coronavirus stimulus bill, the next iteration, stands in the negotiations as of right now.
Well, Brett, the president and I couldn't be more pleased with the way the economic plan is working. We've injected $3 trillion into the economy. People thought we'd get 25% unemployment. Fortunately, it never came close to that. We're down to 8.4. But the president and I believe we should do more stimulus. We have about 7.5 million jobs that we need to get back until we're back to where we were. And we want to help small businesses. We want to help businesses that are particularly impacted by this. And we'll continue to work on proposed new legislation.
So what's the sticking point?
All right, so it's interesting, and we'll get right back to it. But they've already infused, what do you say, $3 trillion. And now they're talking about 1 trillion or maybe 1.3 trillion is what they want in this next stimulus package. But he admits that the CARES Act really worked. It worked. That all that money that came from the CARES Act really worked. But now they want to go down to 1.3 trillion or even down lower. If they go with the skinny bill, it could be 500 billion. So that doesn't really make sense to me. I would think if you want to have the same result, then you go with what you did with the CARES Act, which was like $2.2 trillion. So it's just interesting. Let's go ahead and move forward.
Does Speaker Pelosi want this, do you believe?
Well, I think, you know, in my discussions with the speaker, where we're really stuck is both on certain policy issues, but more importantly on the top line. The speaker has refused to sit down and negotiate unless we agree to something like a $2.5 trillion deal in advance. And Brett, as you know, we put $3 trillion into the economy when the economy was completely shut down. We've now reopened the economy. Well, let's do a more targeted bill now. If we need to do more in 30 days, we'll continue to do more. But let's not hold up the American workers and American businesses that need more support.
So on the
all right, so it's interesting how he's talking about the $3 trillion, like I said. Now it's $2.5 trillion. It's $2.2 trillion is what she's gone down to, but now he's saying $2.5 trillion, which whatever when it comes to the numbers. But he's talking about we're now, you know, people are starting to get back to work and all that. What better way to really stimulate the economy and get us rolling a lot faster than to go with that $2.2 trillion again? What better way to do that? That's why when I'm listening to them talk and they're saying, yes, you know what, this worked. When we were on a shutdown, this worked. This would do even better if we're not on a shutdown. That's the way that I look at it. Then he goes to the 30 days, right? And this is very, very interesting. This is the first time that he's actually given kind of a timeline. But he said, well, we can do something that's targeted right now, and then in 30 days we can look at it again. Well, that doesn't make any sense to me, okay? Because first off, you're not going to know the results of this stimulus package that you sign, whatever this targeted stimulus package that you sign. You're not going to know the results in 30 days. You're not going to have those numbers. You're not going to know if it's working or if it's not going to work. So it doesn't make any sense when you say the 30 days. And then my other question is, why wait 30 days? Why not just put everything together and then you don't have to worry about it in another 30 days? Why are you just going to kick it down the road for 30 days? It doesn't make any sense to me. If you can do what you need to do, like what's on the table, go ahead and take care of it. And then 30 days from now, you don't have to worry about it. And you might not have to worry about it at all. There might not have to be another stimulus package at all. There is just too much stuff going on right now. If you look at this, let's say everything goes through by the end of September. They're able to approve it in both the Senate, the House, and then send it to the president. And let's say it's one of those targeted bills that Stephen Mnuchin is talking about. And then they'll reevaluate it in 30 days. Well, what happens in 30 days? Like if if we're seriously looking at it, people are not all going to receive their stimulus checks in 30 days. And a lot of the programs and stuff like that, they're not going to get going in that 30 days. So when you say that, just look at enhanced unemployment right now. The executive order for the enhanced unemployment, a lot of people still have not received their checks, and it's been 30 days. So I think it's just dishonest when he says that, yeah, we can look at it in 30 days. He knows that's not going to happen, and that's why he's just putting it out there like that. Plus, you have an election that's right around the corner. So do you think all this stuff's going to be going on right before an election? I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. All right, let's go ahead and continue.
Logistics. Will Senate Republicans move a so-called skinny bill next week?
I'd like to call it a more targeted bill, not a skinny bill. But yes, our expectation is we'll move forward with that next week.
What?
Okay, so, and that's interesting, right? He's saying that they're going to move forward with the skinny bill. So before, I didn't know if Stephen Mnuchin and Mitch McConnell and Mark Meadows and even the president were on board for this skinny bill. I thought maybe this was kind of, the fringe part of the Senate, the Republicans who don't want another stimulus package at all. Maybe they're kind of trying to work something out just so they can get something passed. But it looks like they're all on board to work on this skinny bill. So that looks like that's going to happen. It will be unveiled this week, and we'll have to see where that goes. But it was interesting for me to hear that he did say, yeah, we're going to take a look at it. So let's go ahead and continue.
Exactly did you agree with the Speaker on government funding?
Well, the good news, Brett, is the Speaker and I have agreed. We both don't want to see a government shutdown. So we've agreed that we are going to do a clean CR. We'll do this separately from the CARES Act negotiations. We're having the appropriations staff, the four corners, meet and go through some specific details on it. But the good news is we've agreed on a clean CR. And I hope by the end of the week we can begin moving forward with that, because that's important to the American people.
CR, continuing resolution. How long would that government funding extension last? Through Election Day? Some other timeline?
We haven't agreed on the specific details, but my expectation it would be through the beginning of December. That's what we did this year. We had one through December. We then needed another one into the beginning of next year, and then we had final appropriations. So for now, the most important thing is to make sure at the end of the month we don't shut down the government and we get something past the election.
Mr. Secretary, there has been some vocal criticism from Republicans about you negotiating, saying, in essence, that you're giving away the store. The president's joked that he doesn't know whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. Here's the Wall Street Journal editorial board. Republicans in the age of Donald Trump don't know what they stand for on economics. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin is a Keynesian whose idea of compromise is half of whatever Mrs. Pelosi wants, saying it's a down payment on her election agenda. Your reaction to that criticism, and would it be better to bring the president in, have him get everybody in the Oval Office and try to hammer out a deal?
Bingo. That's what I'm talking about. Just that last part there. Bring the president needs to be at the table. He needs to be at the table. It just makes sense. And the fact that we have Mark Meadows and Steve Mnuchin doing the negotiating, the president has surrogates on his behalf. We don't even have Mitch McConnell, who is a legislator in the room. It just baffles me. I do not understand why this is being allowed to happen. And if I were Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, you should be calling them out for that, because that is, I know that they don't get along. None of them get along. But look, there are plenty of people that you might work with that you don't get along with, but you have to work with them in order to get the job done, right? This is one of those situations. And it blows my mind that this is being allowed. And the people aren't really standing up and saying, look, you guys need to come to the table and get this job done. This is what we elected you for. So, yeah, it's amazing. But let's hear his response.
Brett, let me first say, I don't take the Wall Street Journal editorials personally. Sometimes they have good things to say, and sometimes it's nonsense, like this case. As I've said before, I don't agree to anything that I don't review with the president. I speak to the president daily. Our economic plan got us back to an extraordinary reopening of the economy. And the president wanted us to move forward with $3 trillion of spending. That's what we did. It's helped an enormous amount of American businesses and American workers. And the answer is the president constantly has not only his economic team in the Oval Office, but now Mark Meadows and I have been on the phone with Mitch McConnell and the Senate Republicans every single day. Mark and I obviously speak to Kevin McCarthy and the the Republicans in the House. But let me be clear, any legislation requires bipartisan support. We couldn't be more proud. The last two bills in the Senate, 100-0 and 96-0. So I find that anything other than complete bipartisan support from both sides.
Yeah, it's like I said, I don't want to continue on with this, but it just makes sense. And he doesn't have a good reason why they're not in on this whole discussion. Like he's saying, he's calling them constantly. Why are you calling them? They should just be there. Like you shouldn't have to call them. Sure, you could be there too to assist when it comes to the needs of how the Treasury Department is going to be able to send out checks and do a variety of different things. But they should be there. They should be in that room.
Most experts looked at Friday's latest jobs report as positive, as you mentioned, strong, beating expectations. Here's how the former vice president characterized it Friday, though.
The report reinforces the worst fears and painful truths. The economic inequities that began before the downturn have only worsened under this failed presidency. When the crisis started, we all hoped for a few months of a shutdown would be followed by a rapid economic turnaround. No one thought they'd lose their job for good.
Your reaction to that?
Well, the former vice president and the former president had one of the longest economic recessions that we've had. Under President Trump, we had the lowest unemployment we've had. We've had the best economy we've ever had. And to no fault of any American businesses, the president made the very difficult decision to shut down the entire U.S. economy because of this terrible COVID disease. Now, the good news is we've reopened it. So, again, let me just say, people thought we'd have 30, 40 million people unemployed. We never did that because of the bipartisan support, putting money into the economy.
All right, I just want to stop. There are a couple of things I want to talk about. So as far as the recession, the former president had President Obama and the Vice President Biden. They had a recession when they came in. They came in on a recession. And sure, it was a slow progression, but they came out of that recession and handed over a good economy to President Trump. So sure, his numbers are going to look good because that's what he was given when he came into office. So it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same situation where President Obama had a bad economy when he came in and he made it a good economy. And then when Trump came in, it was a good economy and he made it a bad economy. And then when Stephen Mnuchin was talking about the 30 to 40 million people unemployed, we did hit the high 30s of people being unemployed. So that is just not true. Okay, so that was the end of the portion where they talked about the stimulus checks and stimulus package and all that. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about what I said as far as my critique on the reaction video. Let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one.